Reasoning, problem-solving, decision-making. How do we think? In this episode, we'll explore words that describe different ways our minds work. With definitions, examples, and images, let's dive into the vocabulary of thought processes. Perception as noun. The process of becoming aware of, understanding, or interpreting sensory information received from the environment through the senses. The mental act or ability of recognizing and interpreting stimuli. The way in which something is perceived or understood. A person's mental impression or understanding of a situation, idea, or experience. The artist's work challenges conventional perceptions of beauty and aesthetics. Public perception of the company's brand has been negatively impacted by recent scandals. There is a growing perception that environmental issues require urgent attention from policymakers. Our perception of reality is influenced by our individual experiences and beliefs. The study explores how language shapes perception and cognition. Rationalization as noun. The action of attempting to explain or justify behavior or an attitude with logical reasoning, even if it is not justifiable. The process of finding a logical or reasonable explanation for something that may not be based on true facts or reasons. His constant rationalization for being late to work was met with skepticism by his boss. The company's financial losses led to a series of rationalizations about why their strategies were still sound. Psychologists study the phenomenon of rationalization to understand how people justify their actions in hindsight. She engaged in a process of rationalization to convince herself that her actions were morally justified. The politician's rationalization of his controversial decision failed to sway public opinion. Envisage as verb. To contemplate or visualize something in one's mind. To form a mental image or concept of something. To foresee or anticipate something happening in the future. To imagine or plan for a future event or possibility. It's difficult to envisage how technology will evolve in the next decade. The artist envisaged a series of paintings depicting scenes from her childhood. She envisaged herself traveling the world and experiencing different cultures. The project manager envisaged potential challenges and developed contingency plans to address them. The architect envisaged a modern, eco-friendly building that would blend seamlessly with its surroundings. Reflection as noun. A thing that is a consequence of or arises from something else. The throwing back by a body or surface of light, heat, or sound without absorbing it. His words were met with silence, a reflection of the audience's shock. The novel serves as a reflection of the author's personal experiences. Looking at old photographs is often a reflection of past memories. The mountain lake offered a perfect reflection of the surrounding peaks. Her actions are a reflection of her upbringing and values. Abstraction as adjective. A concept or idea that is not associated with any specific instance or object. The process of considering something independently of its specific details or physical form. In mathematics, abstraction involves generalizing patterns and relationships across different contexts. The scientist used abstraction to simplify the model while retaining its essential features. The philosopher argued that abstraction is essential for understanding complex phenomena and formulating theories. The artist's work explores the boundary between abstraction and representation, blending recognizable forms with abstract elements. Computer programming often involves abstraction, where complex tasks are broken down into simpler, more manageable components. Interpretation as noun. A particular understanding, explanation, or perspective given to something, often influenced by personal beliefs, biases, or cultural context. the act or process of explaining, understanding, or deciphering the meaning of something, such as a text, artwork, or event. Cultural differences can lead to divergent interpretations of customs, traditions, and symbols. His interpretation of the data led to a groundbreaking discovery in the field of genetics. The film director's interpretation of the classic novel received mixed reviews from critics and audiences. The artist's interpretation of the landscape was praised for its unique perspective and emotional depth. Different scholars offer varying interpretations of the ancient manuscript, leading to ongoing debate. Evaluation as noun. A formal or systematic examination and judgment of the effectiveness, performance, merits, or worth of a program, project, product, policy, or individual. The process of assessing or appraising the quality, value, or significance of something based on predetermined criteria or standards. Program evaluations assess the effectiveness and impact of social welfare initiatives, educational programs, and healthcare interventions. The evaluation of a research study involves assessing its methodology, findings, significance, and potential implications. Teachers use evaluation to measure students' progress and understanding of course material through exams, quizzes, and assignments. Performance evaluations are conducted annually to assess employees' job performance and provide feedback for improvement. Consumer reviews and ratings serve as evaluations of products and services, influencing purchasing decisions. Insight as noun. The capacity to gain an accurate and deep understanding of someone or something. The understanding of a specific cause and effect within a particular context. Her insight into human behavior allowed her to predict how people would react in certain situations. The detective's keen insight helped solve the mystery that had puzzled the authorities for months. The therapist offered insightful observations that helped the patient gain clarity about their emotions. Reading biographies provides valuable insights into the lives and experiences of historical figures. The research study provided valuable insights into the effects of climate change on marine ecosystems. Deduction as noun. The action of deducting or subtracting something. The process of reaching a conclusion by reasoning. She made a deduction from her paycheck to contribute to her retirement fund. The detective made deductions based on the evidence gathered at the crime scene. The insurance company made a deduction for depreciation when assessing the value of the damaged property. The tax deduction for charitable donations encourages people to give to worthy causes. His argument was based on logical deductions drawn from the available information. Reasoning as noun. The action of thinking about something in a logical way to form a conclusion or judgment. The capacity for logical thinking, intelligence. The professor was impressed by the student's clear and coherent reasoning. Her reasoning behind the decision was sound and well thought out. Critical reasoning skills are essential for success in academia and beyond. Flawed reasoning can lead to incorrect conclusions and faulty decision-making. The judge's reasoning in the verdict was based on strong evidence. Reasoning as verb. The process of thinking about something in a logical way to form a conclusion or judgment. To use logical thinking to understand or explain something. The detective reasoned that the suspect's alibi didn't add up. She reasoned that if she studied hard, she would pass the exam. He reasoned with his friend, trying to persuade him to change his mind. They reasoned through the problem together, considering various possibilities. We need to reason carefully before making any decisions. Cognition as noun. The mental process of acquiring knowledge and understanding through thought, experience, and the senses. the set of all mental abilities and processes related to knowledge, attention, memory, judgment, evaluation, reasoning, and decision-making. Human cognition involves processes such as perception, attention, memory, reasoning, and problem-solving. Disorders affecting cognition, such as Alzheimer's disease, can impair memory, reasoning, and decision-making skills. Cognitive psychology focuses on understanding the mechanisms underlying human cognition. The study of cognition examines how people perceive, think, remember, and learn. Animals demonstrate various forms of cognition, including learning, memory, and problem-solving abilities. Synthesis as noun, the combination of components or elements to form a connected whole. The production of chemical compounds by reaction from simpler materials. The synthesis of music and visuals in the film created a captivating cinematic experience. The synthesis of ideas from different sources led to the development of a groundbreaking theory. Scientists are exploring methods of synthesis to produce new materials with unique properties. The synthesis of data from various studies provides a comprehensive understanding of the phenomenon. Organic synthesis involves the creation of complex molecules from simpler organic compounds. Infer as verb, to deduce or conclude information from evidence and reasoning rather than from explicit statements. To derive by reasoning, to conclude from premises or evidence. We can infer from his actions that he is planning to resign. The detective inferred that the suspect had left town based on the empty apartment. She inferred his intentions from the way he avoided eye contact. Based on the evidence presented, the jury inferred that the defendant was guilty. From his tone of voice, she inferred that he was upset. Inference as noun, a conclusion reached on the basis of evidence and reasoning. The act or process of deriving logical conclusions from premises known or assumed to be true. The author's inference that technology is shaping human behavior is supported by empirical evidence. Her inference that he was lying was based on his inconsistent statements. From the data collected, scientists drew the inference that the species was facing extinction. Logical inference is an essential skill in critical thinking and problem-solving. The detective made several inferences based on the evidence found at the crime scene. Induction as noun, the action or process of inducting someone to a position or organization. The process or action of bringing about or giving rise to something. She gave a speech at her induction into the Hall of Fame. The induction of the new CEO marked a new era for the company. The induction of electricity into the coil produced a magnetic field. The induction ceremony welcomed new members into the prestigious organization. The induction process for the military recruits lasted several weeks. Contemplation as noun, the act of carefully considering or reflecting on something. The state of being engaged in deep thought or meditation. The monastery provided a peaceful environment for contemplation and prayer. She sat in quiet contemplation, pondering the meaning of life. His decision to resign came after much contemplation and soul-searching. In moments of contemplation, he found clarity and insight into his own emotions. The artist found inspiration in moments of contemplation, allowing ideas to flow freely. Speculation as noun, investment in stocks, property, or other ventures in the hope of gain, but with the risk of loss. The buying, holding, or selling of securities or commodities for profit. The act or process of conjecturing, theorizing, or forming opinions based on incomplete or uncertain evidence. The activity of engaging in speculative thought. Political speculation is rife as election day approaches, with pundits offering various predictions about the outcome. The archaeological discovery prompted speculation about the ancient civilization that once inhabited the site. The author's new book sparked intense speculation among literary critics about its potential themes and narrative direction. There is widespread speculation about the company's upcoming product launch, with many investors eagerly anticipating its impact on stock prices. Economic speculation often leads to volatility in financial markets, with prices fluctuating based on anticipated future events. Recall is noun. An official request for the return of a product due to safety concerns or defects. The action or ability to remember something. His recall of past events was remarkable, even in old age. There was a widespread recall of contaminated food products from the market. The teacher tested the student's recall of vocabulary words from the previous lesson. The candidate's recall of historical dates impressed the interviewers. The car manufacturer issued a recall for models with faulty airbags. Analysis as noun. The process of examining something in detail in order to understand it or explain it. The study of the components of a substance or compound to understand its nature or characteristics. The literary analysis of the novel explored its themes and symbolism. The data analysis revealed interesting patterns in consumer behavior. The forensic analysis of the evidence helped solve the crime. Chemical analysis of the water samples detected high levels of contaminants. The economic analysis of the market indicated potential areas for growth. Anticipate as verb. To expect or foresee something happening and take action in preparation for it. To regard as likely to happen. To look forward to or await eagerly. She anticipated his arrival by preparing his favorite meal. The company anticipated an increase in demand and ramped up production accordingly. Investors are anticipating a rise in stock prices following the company's positive earnings report. He anticipated her next move and positioned himself to counter it. The meteorologists anticipate heavy rainfall in the area over the weekend. Appreciate as verb. To increase in value over time. To gain in price or worth. To recognize the value, significance, or quality of something. To understand and enjoy. She appreciates the beauty of nature and enjoys spending time outdoors. As an art collector, he hopes the paintings he owns will appreciate in value. I really appreciate your help with moving furniture into my new apartment. The value of the vintage car appreciated significantly over the years. We appreciate your hard work and dedication to the project. Comprehend as verb. To perceive or grasp mentally. To apprehend. To understand or grasp the meaning, nature, or significance of something. It took him a while to comprehend the complexity of the scientific theory. It's important for teachers to ensure that all students comprehend the material before moving on to the next lesson. She struggled to comprehend the instructions, so she asked for clarification. The book was written in such a way that even children could comprehend its message. After several readings, she finally began to comprehend the subtleties of the poem. Deliberation as noun. The act of weighing or examining alternatives before making a decision. The process of carefully considering or discussing a decision or course of action. Deliberation is essential in strategic planning to ensure informed decision-making. She approached the dilemma with thoughtful deliberation, weighing the pros and cons of each option. After much deliberation, the committee reached a consensus on the proposed budget. The board's deliberation resulted in a unanimous vote on the resolution. The jury retired to the deliberation room to reach a verdict in the trial. Introspection as noun. A reflective or meditative examination of one's own mental or emotional state. The process of examining one's own thoughts, feelings, and experiences, often with a focus on self-awareness and personal growth. Through introspection, she gained insight into her own motivations and desires. Journaling can be a helpful tool for practicing introspection and self-reflection. Introspection is an essential part of the creative process for many artists and writers. The retreat offered participants an opportunity for deep introspection and spiritual renewal. He spent hours in introspection, pondering the meaning of life and his place in the world. Recall as verb. To bring back into one's mind or memory. Remember. To officially order the return of a product due to safety concerns or defects. The company decided to recall the faulty product from store shelves. Can you recall the details of our discussion from last week? She struggled to recall where she had put her keys. The doctor advised him to avoid certain foods after he recalled an allergy. The witness tried to recall the events of that fateful day. Conceive as verb. To become pregnant with or give birth to a child. To form or develop in the mind. To think of or imagine. After years of trying, they finally conceived a child through in vitro fertilization. The characters in the novel are conceived with great depth and complexity. It's hard to conceive of a world without modern technology. The artist conceived the idea for his latest sculpture while traveling abroad. She conceived of a brilliant plan to solve the problem. Level up your English. Master vocabulary, idioms, and phrasal verbs with fun quizzes. Translate meanings into 104 languages. Download now. Link in the description. Please like and subscribe to our channel.